Hello, Phil from digitaldjtips.com here once again. We're looking at the DJ TechTool's Midi Fighter today, which I have in my hands here. You can see that the Midi Fighter is a rather small box with a number of buttons on the front. These buttons are arcade buttons from Japanese arcade machines, highly tactile, very responsive. It has a USB cable at the back, which plugs into your computer, and you map these buttons to DJ software functions in order to take some of the functionality back out of the computer and put it into your hands in any number of ways. Now, we've covered this unit in a lot of detail in our accompanying review to this video, which is at www.digitaldjtips.com/MIDI Fighter. However, in this little video, we're going to show you how easy it is to map some of the functions of this unit to your DJ software. Okay, so here we have a MIDI Fighter with virtual DJ software, and I've programmed a few functions from virtual DJ onto the MIDI Fighter just to demonstrate how quickly it can be done and the kind of things that you can do. I've programmed various bits and pieces across here, and to be honest, most of these things you might want to concentrate on one set of functions more than another. I've put transport controls, EQ, some programmed effects, the crossfader, and even some library functions for loading music up, all onto one MIDI Fighter. You might decide that actually you'd like to use your MIDI Fighter just to trigger samples or just for beat juggling and hot cues. But in order to show you the kind of things you can do with it and how easy it is to do them, I kind of put a little bit of everything on this. I wouldn't really expect you to use a programming like this in the real world necessarily. Okay, this whole programming took me about half an hour, so it really isn't difficult if you know how to set any functions at all in your DJing software. If you know how to assign functions to keys on your keyboard, for instance, it really isn't a big leap, or really any leap at all, to do the same with a MIDI Fighter. It's exactly the same stuff. So, first thing we want to do is select and load a tune onto our deck, and I've actually programmed the white keys across the middle here to do just that if you hold down this button here, which is a shift. I simply set this up as a shift button in the software. So I can hold down shift and I can look through my records. You can see my records being looked through there. I might decide that that's the one I want to load, and I load it onto a deck. The red button I've set as a deck switch, as a PFL button, so you'll see that I can choose my deck simply by pressing the red button. Another function that's quite nice to have away from your DJ software, possibly. And I've set the bottom up as transport controls. So the bottom will duplicate the function of this area of virtual DJ, and in fact this button here is used to jump back to the beginning or jump back to your cue point, and this button here is a play pause button, so that should start the music playing nicely. There you go, and I can go back to the cue point there, so exactly the same as these functions. I've programmed these two here as nudges, pitch shift if you like, pitch bend, so I can speed up and slow down. Obviously very useful for keeping tracks in time with each other. I've also set this button here up as a BPM button. If I held down shift and pressed that, it would sync the BPMs. Again, very easy programming. These three buttons here I set up as crossfader, simply because there were three buttons there and I felt the three buttons might be quite a good crossfader function for the white keys. So if you keep an eye on the crossfader, that's left, that's mid, that's right. I can go straight from one to the other, any to any like that. Quite nice for cutting the tunes together in that manner. I've set these three buttons here up as kills. They'll work on whichever track is selected, whichever deck is selected here. So for instance, there's a bass kill, and my mid kill, and my total kill. Very nice to have that away from the software and in something where you've got nice buttons to quickly use it on. And of course, again, I've set this as a PFL, so were I to have a track on the other channel, all the same controls would work over there. And finally, I've set up a programmed effect I'd like to thank the guys at the Virtual DJ Forum. I found a little script over there which I adapted for the Midi Fighter to show you this effect. And what I've done is program across these 4 buttons here a kind of sample loop effect. This will loop 1 beat, and then half a beat, and then a quarter of a beat, and then an eighth of a beat to give quite a classic effect, which you'll recognise as soon as I do it. So you might want to go like this.
What you thinking?
Okay, so there's just some of the ways that you could potentially program your DJ TechTool's Midi Fighter to make your DJ sets more interesting, more tactile, and more fun, both for you and for your audiences. This has been Phil Morse reporting for digitaldjtips.com.